Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading today for Cancerian energy and its collective energy. So how this may affect you, it could come through in different ways. Do flip and reverse it if needs be. I am getting a lot of stuff for you. It's quite emotional. I've got that In My Feelings song by Lana Del Rey. And Secrets from a Girl Who's Seen It All by Lorde, which was followed by an advert with #1 bestseller. So I don't know if some of you are writing a book or just writing about your experiences, about your feelings as a way to kind of process them. If you're not doing that and you're feeling very emotional at the moment, it may be something that's helpful for you to do. So anything that if there's anything that you're kind of going over, especially like from the past, like anything that's in your head, anything that keeps running through your mind, if you're experiencing anything that's bringing out very, very overwhelming feelings, I'm getting this kind of feeling of overwhelm. Yeah, write it. Just start writing, and it doesn't even, you can start right in the middle of the story. You can put random words down as you kind of think of them or feel them. Just start putting pen to paper. I mean, if that's something that you're able to do. If you can't write for whatever reason, because I have been picking up on someone with dyslexia, so maybe just you know, like using your phone, using your like video recorder, you can just or maybe you've got like an audio recorder on your phone. You could get an app or something. Just start making notes to yourself. You know, if something pops into your head, just speak it into. What I like to do sometimes is, like, you could point the camera at like the clouds or a flower, so the camera doesn't have to be pointed at you. So just focus the camera on something that seems significant at that moment and say what you need to say. If this is speaking something out loud that you can't say to a certain person, just do it on your camera. You can always just delete them, you know, if you find them embarrassing or whatever. It's just a way of getting whatever's going on internally, Cancer, out of you, right? Out of you, so that you can release it or you can process it. So I hope that helps for somebody. When I was trying to light the joss stick and the candle, the match wouldn't stay lit. It kind of lit and then just immediately went out, so that could be meaningful for somebody. It doesn't seem to be in your reading, but because I'm picking up on it, I'm going to mention it. And again, it kind of is coming through in your readings. It's not necessarily in the cards, but it's coming through intuitively. So I don't know if it's necessarily a Cancer thing or something going on collectively. But I've been getting this thing about, you know, kind of like the Me Too movement. It's coming through in songs a lot. So it's like abuse of power, right? So somebody who maybe can offer you something, maybe somebody in the business world, maybe somebody, it's coming through as like the people who can give the opportunities, taking advantage of the people who want the opportunities in a way. And I want to say there was something in Taurus's reading where there are all these like female fairies, and then there's this one male fairy who was kind of like left out of the group, and it was coming through the message of like, remember, these things don't just happen to women. Yes, like on the whole, it does tend to be men objectifying women, you know, men treating women as a plaything, but it can happen to men too, you know. So just remember that it's not a gendered experience. It you know, and there may be people who feel very left out of maybe support groups because they can't access it because of the gender, which, you know, you need those safe spaces, but at the same time, it seems to be just an awareness of that a lot of people can be affected by things. So yeah, Mr. Brightside is coming through. So I don't know if this is something about relationships, people being cheated on, or people who are thinking about maybe like a relationship that's ended and a partner that's moved on, and thinking, oh my god, I wonder what they're doing with that, you know, seeing the photos of them with this new person and being like, oh my god, I wonder, you know, it's like your imagination runs wild and starts to take like, it's like being tortured by your own imagination. So a lot of strange intuitive stuff coming through already. It does feel like there's a lot of Cancerians in here. Like I was saying to Gemini, it felt like a lot of different energies that I'm kind of filtering through. So some things may apply and some things may not. But there's something as well about some of you, I feel you could have had these experiences in the past where perhaps you did feel taken advantage of by some sort of senior person, like a boss or an executive, or somebody who can make, you know, give you offers in some sort of way. And if you felt like you were taken advantage of by them, I feel like this could have happened multiple times. It could be a pattern for some of you where you think this person, you think it's love, you think it's, you know, this is the one, this is such a passionate relationship. There's a wasp in between my window and my neck curtain, so we may have to deal with that in a second. And it may also be symbolic for somebody, like wasps, right? So okay, oh, okay, it's in. I may just have to do... Are you coming to say hello to the reading? Okay, trigger warning if you don't like wasps. Let's just see what it does. It'll go out of the window eventually, but it may be symbolic for somebody as part of the reading. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a minute. So, for some of you, it's like finally learning, right? Finally learning not to be taken advantage of. Finally learning not to just, like, I don't know, like, you know, like the initial stages of a relationship where you really like somebody, and it's like you just throw yourself at them. It's like you're learning not to throw yourself at them, right? You're learning to play your cards a little bit closer to your chest. You know, like Poker Face by Lady Gaga. It's like, don't give them all the information up front. Right? Let them wonder. You know, maybe it's part of the mystery, and you are quite good at that kind of seduction thing, Cancer. It's like part of the mystery to keep them guessing. Part of the mystery to kind of hint or give them a piece of information, but not give them the whole thing. So yeah, Waspy seems to be chilling out here. So I'm just going to pause and try and give them access to the open window. Hold on. Okay, it hasn't gone out of the window yet, but it's back behind my veil and on the side of the open window, so this could be significant as well. So I was getting something in Gemini's reading about, and it's coming through for you with the song The Scientist by Coldplay, which I've actually been channeling quite a lot this week. So again, when I do the Storytime readings, it's like a collective experience, but each sign is experiencing that experience a different way, right? It's like one experience filtered through different lenses. So channeling this song, The Scientist by Coldplay, it's the one where he talks about going back to the start, like science and progress, you know, numbers and figures. And it's like, it was coming through a bit in Gemini's reading, so I don't know if some of you are on the cusp, but this thing about like physics or trying to make sense of something in a logical, mathematical sense. The reason why I'm saying this as well is this is here. So can you see, it's like thinking about something, like understanding the divine plan, understanding your own kind of unique blueprint, your purpose in the world, and finding that missing puzzle piece. So I don't know if there's something that's been going around in your head in terms of trying to understand existence or something like this, but this is the actual card that was clarified by that song. So just distracted by that wasp. So there was something in Gemini's reading about two planes of existence, right? If you imagine somebody who is you know how they used to do old Disney cartoons, like Mickey Mouse cartoons, and they used to have the plates, right? It'd be like a clear plate, and then they'd have one figure on one plate, and then another figure on another plate, and it's like, so that they didn't have to keep redrawing the same scene over and over again. They just had to change the plates. So it's like two planes of existence that can overlap, and it's like you can see each other, right? Because the glass plate itself is transparent, so it's like you can see this other plane, but they're not necessarily, it's like nothing on that side can hurt you because it's on the other side of the glass or something, or it's on another piece of glass. So it's like you can see it, but it's not a threat. So this idea of the wasp coming onto my side of the veil could actually be tying it into that a little bit. Are you okay? You need to go down a bit, Mr. Wasp. You're too high up. Yeah, down, 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 down. I'm quiet because I'm trying to visualize it going out of the window, and it's basically perched on the sill now, right next to the opening. I'm actually going to pause and visualize it going out the window and see if I can do that. Oh my God, I didn't even need to pause. The second I paused, it went out the window. That is so cool. I don't know if any of you are kind of doing this manifestation thing. Like in one of the readings the other day, I stopped a dog barking. And it's like, I can stop babies crying, I can stop dogs barking, I can make wasps go out the window. That's not the first time I've done that. Just by visualizing it. It's really strange. It's like, hello, magic power. I will use my power for good. It could just be coincidence, but I'm finding that I can do it quite a lot. And my confidence in that ability is growing. It's an interesting thing. It's like, you know, like I always wanted to be Matilda. Like when I read the book Matilda when I was little, the Roald Dahl book, and she could like move things with her mind. I always wanted to be able to do that. And okay, I can't move things with my mind, but I can calm babies down, or you know, calm dogs down, show wasps how to fly out of a window. It's fascinating. Okay. So, I don't know, give it a go. Tell me in the comments if anyone is finding that you can also do that. It's interesting. Completion West. So, Aquarius last week had this thing about a puzzle. So it's like they were constructing something. But instead of, if you think about how you do a jigsaw puzzle, right, you paint the whole picture first, and then you actually cut out the pieces with a jigsaw, hence the name. And that's how you normally make a jigsaw. But this felt more like Aquarius was creating a picture. I'm sorry about the background noises. Again, it's so warm in the UK. It's a heat wave, so it's gonna happen. Aquarius was constructing a picture, but instead of doing the whole picture first, they were constructing the picture piece by piece. So it's like each puzzle piece was coming in separately, and there was this feeling of, is it all going to fit together? But it's like it's slotted together perfectly. So this feels like a tie-in with that, where it's like the missing piece is slotting into the picture. Like you've found, you know, the last piece of the puzzle, or the last. It's like you've achieved something, right? You've got to a certain point where you're achieving something. It feels like a marker. I'm also seeing a lot of 4s in your reading. There's a 4 here. 1 and 3 makes 4. 3 and 1 makes 4. 5 and 8, so that makes 13, which breaks down to a 4. 5 and 8 make 13. 3 and 1 make 4. So lots and lots of 4s. So it seems to be something about your stability, your foundations, right? Your security. And also, just to say, I'm seeing a lot of 13s. So, Gemini had 3 13s. They were like here, here, and here. If you want to go back and check that out. I don't think I actually mentioned it in the reading. And you've got 13 here, another 13 somewhere, I think. And then 31. So it's this interesting thing about flipping something to the other side of the mirror, right, to the other plane, like the wasp coming from one side to the other. So 13 going to 31 on the other side, because you've got this kind of like portal or dimension coming through, which is fascinating as well. So it feels though, now I don't know if this is you, because I am picking up on a bit of a mischievous or a maybe slightly vengeful nature, again with like the sting in the tail. So it could be you sabotaging something. This isn't for everybody though, where it's that feeling of like, you know, somebody's making a puzzle, they're doing a jigsaw puzzle, it's taking them a long time, and to be a little bit sly, you take a piece of the puzzle and put it in your pocket. And you're like, haha, they're never going to complete that puzzle. So there is an element of sabotage. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you've got Dream Thief here. Refusal of the call. It's like he's stealing that puzzle piece, right? Just, it's like, you can't have this piece. I'm going to sabotage your plans, which is a dick move. Don't do that, please, Cancer. It's not. It's funny, but it's not funny, right? It's bad karma. Somebody could be doing this to you, though. Or I do feel like some of you are self-sabotaging, because it's the Dream Thief, refusal of the call. It's like something that you are tied to, some kind of karmic tie that's stopping you from achieving your goal. So you can see how these two girls are kind of like bound to the past. I saw 1414 on the timestamp. And this girl here, she's unbound, right? She's been shackled by this thing, but it's like, somehow she's broke this connection and she's being released from it. So the card actually says unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So it feels like it almost feels like you're your own dream thief. Like you have your own connections to the past, your own patterns of behavior, your own whatever these ties are for you, right? Whatever the ropes are, because you see this also here as well. Can you see this fallen angel with all these like bandages? like whatever that is that's stopping you from achieving your highest self, that is stopping you from really ascending, it's like cutting those ties. And I do feel like a lot of you, the main message that's coming through is that a lot of you are doing it. You're no longer self-sabotaging. You've completed some process of learning, and it's time to have an awakening, because literally you have the awakening card here. So look at this, it's like absolutely fascinating. So here she is floating off, and then it's like completely unfettered, right? Completely untied. But it's like, it's almost like it's a process, right? It's a process. So sometimes I feel like you achieve this, you really feel like, yes, I'm floating, yes, I'm, you know, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Maybe some of you are trying to astrally project, maybe some of you are just learning to meditate, or even to just be your own witness, right? To kind of see your past from that higher perspective. But it's like every time you feel like, because this is a feeling of release, right? It's like that release of like floating. If you've ever floated on your back in a swimming pool, you've really got to kind of like, submit in a way to not fight, it's almost unnatural to do it, right? It's like you have to put your head back into the water and really kind of like soften up in the right places to be able to float on your back. So like my son has a lot of trouble with it because he tries to resist it. You know, he's got this sense of, I'm going to drown if I do that. So he has a lot of trouble relaxing, which means he can't get to that softened floating position. So it's like you can do it for a second, whatever this is, it's like you can do it for a second, but then it's like you have, it's like your doubts come into play, or you second guess yourself, or you a bit of fear kicks in or something like that, and it's like all of a sudden the thoughts, because it feels like thoughts, like nostalgia or thoughts of the past, suddenly wrap you and weigh you down again with this fallen angel and narcolepsy. So there's something happening here where it's necessary for you to break your own ego. It does feel like this is something that you're doing to yourself, like self-sabotaging because of your ego, just because you've got, and I'm not calling you out, everybody has the ego, right? You've got this vanishing mirror, ego sublimation, which again, it's like smashing your own perception of self. So something is happening to you where there's some kind of completion of a dream, and it's almost like stepping out of your comfort zone into this new experience is triggering some kind of it's almost like a survival reflex, or a feeling of I need to stay in this place that's familiar. I need to stay in this past situation, or this place that's known to me. So you're having a bit of trouble perceiving a different self. Again, if you're on the cusp of Gemini, go and watch that, because they had this whole thing about like God's dressing room and trying on different roles. So it's like if you've played a certain role for a long time and you're ready for new experiences in your life, it may be very difficult for you to shake off the old behaviors or the old expectations of self because of that role. For example, you've got the Queen of Earth here, which can be a mother, right? So for example, I think Gemini may have had a bit of this as well. It's like if you've been a mother, right? If you've been raising children, and like those children are now going off to you know, university or something, like they're leaving home, it's like suddenly that mother role, yes, sometimes it's still necessary, but it doesn't always fit. So it's like there's an opportunity to break that very, because in Gemini's reading it was coming through like with this wooden mask. It was like an oak mask. So to break or reform that mask, right? It had become a burden to play this character or to be in this role. So it could be something similar like that for you. Like you have a perception of who you are that no longer is fit for purpose. So you need to kind of break down the veneer that you've created for yourself, the persona that you've created for yourself, to be free from that and to have this very new exciting beginning with the Ace of Fire. Now I'm actually going to read the Vanishing Mirror because it's a very interesting card to read, and when I read it, because I don't read all the cards, sometimes some of them talk to me about you know, sometimes a lot of them talk to me about through the images, but I just really wanted to check the actual meaning of this specific card. And what's really fascinating to me as well is that you are going through this kind of portal. You know, when you eventually do this, when you eventually break through this glass or veil or this perceived barrier, you know, it's kind of, it's shattered for good. That portal then becomes open. Just with like the imagery, can you see like it's fascinating imagery across different decks? So shattering some kind of image of yourself is the way it feels. Like, we spend a lot of time on earth creating our persona. You know, if we go on social media, we you know, edit our photos, we upload certain photos that give a certain impression of who we are and how we live our lives. It's not 100% authentic. You can't put every single second of your day on the screen. I mean, I guess you can, but not a lot of people choose to do that. So the social media presence that we have is a very cultivated image, and this can even affect the way that we're perceived by others. So sometimes even friends and family can can really see this mask that you cultivate for yourself and assume that's who you are all the time. So this really feels like whatever persona you created for yourself, maybe as a career woman, I'm saying woman, you could also be a man, obviously, however you identify is absolutely fine. This persona of, I don't know, I had this kind of creative blonde Barbie persona for a long time, and at one point in my life I broke that and really kind of rejected my own image and like my own beauty or my own physical characteristics in favour of knowledge and pursuing knowledge and being taken seriously. So I didn't want to present as a Barbie when I wanted people to take me seriously. So I had to adopt a different persona to go and get my degree, right? And then there's this this need to take all the facets of who you are and really layer them to have a whole the whole range of who you are, right? We're multifaceted people. So yeah, it really feels like you've created a persona for yourself that perhaps doesn't fit the purpose of this fresh start that you're creating. You know, it seems like the persona has become a burden, very similar to Gemini's reading. So we have Vanishing Mirror, ego sublimation, letting go of self-centeredness, becoming a vessel of possibility. Do you ever wonder if your do you ever wonder if your self-definition has become too rigid, too fixed around what you've come to learn, so that you can contract your life into zones of safe versus unsafe? This here is okay, but over there, well, that might be too risky. Judgment, fear, self-righteousness, and overconfidence are only some of the traits that keep you from evolving. Again, you're having an awakening, but there's a blockage. So just how this reinforces the other cards around it. We are all products of our conditioning. So remember that this is part of the human experience. So conditioning talks about how we were raised, the information that was available to us as, you know, to this point in our life so far. So we're all raised in boxes, basically. We all have limited perception of the human experiences as a whole. So a lot of the times our opinions, we think are very, very grounded and fixed, but opinions can change because we have new experiences that challenge those very fixed opinions, and that's good. That shows growth, and that's healthy. We're supposed to evolve. We're not supposed to remain fixed and mechanical like robots, right? Our programming should evolve. So you are not meant to remain static, seeking only what you expect. Even if it appears ambitious, it is still too narrow. You go nowhere when you hesitate to move out of your comfort zone. When you focus too much on yourself this way, you become a servant of the ego. It edges God out, removing the magic of possibility. Okay, sorry if you saw the pause. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing only what you are now. If you can let your self-definition soften, moving beyond the veil, oh my God, crossing the veil, what did I say? If you can let your self-definition soften, and I was saying that as well, right, about like softening up, like you have to kind of relax a little or submit a little to be able to float in the in a pool. If you can let your self-definition soften, moving beyond the veil to your potential, a magical emptiness exists where all things are possible. Look again. Who could you be? What would you see reflected if you allowed yourself to be other than how you define yourself now? Nothing less is required of you now. In this moment, let go of who you think you are and allow a new you to emerge. You will recognize yourself as what you are, a partner in co-creation in service to the divine. Does it feel good? So it really seems like you may be actually having a spiritual awakening, when this happens, it's often preceded by a dark night of the soul. So if you don't know what either of those are, I would recommend you Google them: dark night of the soul, spiritual awakening, because this is really saying to me, especially with ego sublimation, and the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Dark night of the soul is... it can feel like hitting rock bottom. It can feel like despair. It can feel like depression. It's really going into that darkness and facing your fears, and allowing yourself to be broken open so that you can be reformed anew. So this card was coming through kind of almost with this dream thief, like almost like guarding. Can you see how he's got his hand over what this seems to be now to be some sort of portal, right? So it's almost like if you imagine the character of the dream thief is like sat on this archway with his hand over this threshold saying thou shalt not pass, kind of things, like you cannot have what you want. So this is coming into your reading like some sort of challenge, like are you going to face this fear? Are you really going to cross this threshold? Are you really going to walk out this door? And to do so does require that you allow your persona to be broken in some sort of way. You allow that mask to be shattered. Nosy motorbikes. And you allow yourself to be something else, right? And it's okay to be something else. Is the way it's coming through. It's like shatter that glass ceiling. You don't have to stay the shape that your experiences have caused you to be in. You know, if you have found yourself in a certain situation in life, playing a certain role, you don't have to, and you don't like it, you don't have to continue to fulfill that role. You know, you can switch masks and play a different role. Like, interesting, like Gemini have this thing about being an actor on the stage. I'm so sorry about all the background noise. I can't shut the window, it's just too hot. And maybe this is something about having an open window, like not closing an open window, like allowing that opportunity to remain. So if this is talking about shattering the glass ceiling for other people to follow, it could be talking about, you know, gender politics in the workplace or something like this, you know, and making sure that that door doesn't close behind you, but it stays open so that other people can follow in your footsteps. But going first is scary. Facing your fears, facing the dream thief, the person who says, no, you can't have what you want, is scary. So this could be some sort of boss, and you're saying, I'm having that promotion, I am having that job, you know? So it's like, okay, just pause while that noise was happening. So this is coming in with a memory of mine of the first time, and I was quite young, maybe I was about 10. We're just going to have to put up with the background noise, I'm sorry guys. I was about 10 maybe, and I was in bed at night and it was dark, and at the foot of my bed was my TV, and I was watching Indiana Jones, and you know that scene where he goes down into the hole, into the temple, and it's full of snakes. He's like, I hate snakes. And I watched that scene and I was terrified. And like, it was so scary to me. I was like a child, and it was dark and it was scary, and I was on my own, and it was a scary scene, and I couldn't move. You know, have you ever been like frozen in fear? And I couldn't bring myself to, like, I think the film ended, or the scene was just too much, it was too overwhelming, and I couldn't move. You know, to the end of my bed, it was like 2 meters to turn the telly over, or I don't know if I even had a remote control at that time, but I couldn't even go and press the buttons to change the channel or turn it off. I was just absolutely frozen in fear and scared of moving, even though there was clearly nothing in my room to do it. So it's like, this is what it's saying to me. It's like knowing what you have to do, but kind of seeing all those scary things that are around that a kind of could be lurking in the shadows, you know. Have you ever seen that? I think it's like it's a nature documentary. I think it's one of, who's that really famous guy, Attenborough, and there's this lizard that wants to get to the ocean. It's like this lizard that's just been born and it wants to get to the ocean, but there's all these snakes. And as this, I just saw a white feather go right past my window. Ice cream vans, can you hear the ice cream van? That was in Gemini's reading. Ice cream vans and ambulances could be significant for somebody. And white feathers obviously being a symbol of spirit. So if any of that means anything to you, then take that as a sign. So that lizard has to run, basically. It literally, it's just been born and it has to run for its life across this stretch of beach. And as it runs, all these snakes start coming out. It's such a traumatic scene. It's terrifying. All these snakes come out of like the shadows, like out of nowhere. And they're trying to catch this lizard, and it has to scramble over these rocks and get to the ocean. And it's just the most, it's like your heart's in your heart's in your throat watching this lizard surrounded by all these horrendous snakes. And the snakes are just doing what's natural for them, right? But it's terrifying. So I'm sure a lot of you will have watched that scene because it was very, you know, a lot of people spoke about it when it was put on TV. So, we're crossing the threshold. It's like smashing through the glass ceiling, right? It's like, it's irreparable now, you've gone. This is saying to me as well, I don't know what this is for some of you. I don't know if some of you have... It's coming through in a funny way to me, but if this is something you're experiencing, it's not funny, because some of you could have experienced a death or something traumatic. It's just my guides have quite a sick sense of humour, to be honest. So this groundedness, this gravity, the thing that's weighing you down, and again with the initiation, if you're having a dark night of the soul, it could be like depression, like really struggling to get up. It's like you have these spirit guides, right, that could also be aspects of the self, right, other like members of your soul family, or you, but like past life for you, or something like this. It's like, you see how they're like tethered to you. It's like these two women are these two butterflies, and this is you trying to get untethered. But these are, it's like they're supporting you, that connection that you have with them, with this kind of master plan going on in the background, like the connections, the soul family that you have. It's like, and these like animals around you that are like cheering you on. It's always like the same wake up, right? So I don't know if you've seen that meme, Chrissy, wake up, I don't like this. I can't get the tune, but it's a Stranger Things meme, and it's like, I don't like this, wake up. So it could be even seeing somebody that you love having a fit. And I know that it's uncomfortable for me to say this, but if it's what I'm channeling, I'm going to say it because it could be somebody's story. So seeing somebody maybe even stiffening up, right? Maybe you've been doing stiff as a feather, light as a bud, I don't know. Like seeing somebody stiffen up and being like, I don't like this, something's wrong. Or it's like these are trying to, it's like the plane running up that hill, right? These are your friends trying to get you back onto this side. You know, if you think about like Stranger Things in the Upside Down, or like the parallel realities, what's beyond the veil. Maybe you've gone into some kind of deep meditation and it's taken you into some kind of like coma state, and this is like, you know, everybody's saying wake up, it's time to wake up, but you're in that deep sleep. Has anyone else been watching The Sandman? I'm just thinking how similar this is to The Sandman, with like the dream thief and like the whole 2 dimensions thing. I've only watched the first episode. I really, really like it so far. It's like DC, isn't it? And Warner Brothers. So I love Batman. Batman's like so nostalgic to me, and like it's, you know, something that gets me really excited from childhood. So like it having the same kind of vibe, and it just being a really compelling story. It reminds me as well, I don't know if anyone remembers talking about like mirrors and dimensions, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It has a similar vibe to that as well, so I'm really enjoying it. But what I find sometimes is that if something is popular in the it's like popular and a lot of people are watching it. It comes through in the readings because of collective consciousness. So it's like a lot of people are experiencing something at the same time, like a movie or a TV show. It's in everybody's thoughts, right? Everybody's thinking about the same things, and then it comes out in the reading. So I've had it where frequently I have predicted the entire plot of a movie in my reading without realizing it, and then I've gone to watch it myself a few days later and I'm like, oh my god, this is that reading, like word, even like full-on sentences, word for word, like the final episode of Stranger Things, totally predicted it. So it was like, and I was like sending messages to people like that hadn't seen it yet, and I was going, okay, I'm going to give you some sentences out of context, watch for these sentences coming out in the show, and then you'll know what it's like to be me watching something but already having the script. It's like the strangest feeling. So yeah, I could just be doing spoilers for The Sandman right now, but yeah, it's like maybe even somebody who's in some sort of coma state or something like that. But it's like, it's something, because this is, right, so it's like being in that state, right, being in that state on the other side of astrally projecting, or being in that dream state, right, and not wanting to wake up. I had this experience myself as well. I had a nap before, I pulled your cards and I had a nap, and I did ask for messages to come through for you while I was having my nap, because it's hard, I'm tired, it's a thing. And I had this kind of like dream, meditation kind of dream of being inside an oak tree. So it was a big, massive, I was just seeing lots and lots of big, massive trees, right? And I kind of crawled into a space very much like this at the bottom of the tree, and it was kind of like, I feel like there was like a rug on the floor. It could have just been leaves or something, but it felt like a nest, right? It felt like a very, very safe space, and I curled up like this little girl. And I had this feeling of being a little girl, right? Being a little girl hiding in this safe space among the roots of this massive oak tree that was this symbol of protection. And not wanting to leave it. So not wanting to wake up, not wanting to, because that dream space felt so safe, I didn't want to come back to this reality and sit here and do this reading. I wanted to stay in that sleeping space. So, maybe somebody does have narcolepsy, right? It's like, wake up, you're not meant to be sleeping right now, you're doing an exam. But it's kind of almost like, if you think about hot air balloons, so this is looking to me like a hot air balloon, but you're the thing that's being propelled upwards, right, by the heat of this Ace of Fire. Now the Ace of Fire symbolizes new passion, new, I kind of want to go and get an ice cream, new passion, new enthusiasm. It's so funny to me that I was talking about ice cream bands and the music that they play in Gemini's reading. They had the Lambada, right? I don't know what that song is that my ice cream band's playing. Yeah, so it's like this propulsion, right? Like being lifted up by your enthusiasm, being feeling like you're weightless because of something new that you're enthusiastic about, but then falling, right? It's like when you lose the enthusiasm, you start to fall. You fall back into your own fears, you fall back into those old patterns of behavior, and you get tangled up by those ties from the past again. So it seems like you are accomplishing something here. You are having this kind of like spiritual ascension, or this very spiritual experience. It could even be like, you know, people have, say you are having something where you've got something like narcolepsy, or perhaps you have some kind of illness that is taking you close to that border, right, between the two spaces, between, like, it's taking you right to that veil. And maybe it is just meditation, but it's like the reluctance to come back. Could even be some of you, if you have pain relief, it could be something like morphine, and then the reluctance to come back to this reality. And it's almost like crashing back down with this falling angel, and then this Queen of Earth coming back next. It's like crashing back down into this reality, back into this place where you have responsibilities. And again, perhaps you are a wife, perhaps you are a mother, perhaps this is talking about your own wife or mother, but it can be business partner as well. But it's like falling back into this very grounded, earthy energy of this kind of like pentacles energy, where it's like, I have to go out and do my job, I have to earn money, I have to cook dinner, I have to pay the bills. I have to look after the children. It's like this very fixed, like, of this realm, of this earth energy, and very, very solid, right? Because perhaps you are being that oak tree for your own children, right? You have to protect your own children. But there's this thing about, again, with this card coming through, that Coldplay song, Going Back to the Start, it's like, again, similar to Gemini's reading, it's like completely taking off that heavy mask and shattering it and being like, I don't want to be what the world has created me to be anymore. I don't want to be a victim of circumstance. I don't want to play into the role that society has defined for me. I want to feel like I'm fresh again. I want to feel like I'm born again. I want to be this like childlike, innocent version of myself. And I really need to emphasize how interesting it is that all these cards, if I grab them all, she's wearing this white dress, right? So the white dress that symbolizes kind of angels or brides or virginity or innocence, like wearing this white dress in them all. So it's like really this feeling of stripping everything away and getting back to your authentic, innocent, childlike self. But it does feel like if you've had this dark night of the soul and then this awakening, if you're having that experience that I had years ago, it was just before COVID. It was kind of the months before, like, I think it started maybe October, the year before, all throughout Christmas. I was really having the dark night of the soul over the Christmas period. It was so heavy. And then having my spiritual awakening, and coming out the other side of that like a completely different person. I was not the same person. And it felt like I was experiencing a miracle, because I didn't know what any of this was. I didn't know what any of it was. I'd never really heard these terms. I was interested in tarot and horoscopes and things back in the 90s when I was younger. And it's kind of like, but this dark night of the soul awakening, never heard of it. Didn't know what I was experiencing. I was just sick and couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and I didn't know what was happening. I was like, am I going mad? What is this? And, you know, like, I can suddenly talk to my spirit guides, you know, and like had this thing touching my hand, and like all these new experiences. And I felt like the universe was talking to me constantly through codes and patterns and symbolism and songs. And I was like, is this real? And then I'd get a single flash of lightning on a clear sky saying, yes, this is real. And it was the amount of confirmation that I had, and it was incredible. And then it really, really did feel like a miracle to me. It was like the idea that this was possible, that this was really happening, that I was really getting confirmation that I really wasn't crazy, that I was actually getting confirmation outside of myself, that other people could see and witness. You know, this proof that this miracle was happening. It was incredible. And I don't know if you're experiencing something similar. It's like I could look up at the sky, and I was like, it's like I'm in a different world. The sky doesn't look the same. It looks like a fairy tale sky. I've never looked at the moon this way before. I've never seen the stars this way before. I've never looked at clouds this way before, in this kind of like high definition. It really was like an upgrade. So again, with this Orca card, I talk about this song lines. It's like the whales talk to me about ancestral, like ancient ancestral, almost like alien-like beings that communicate to you. So it could symbolize your own spirit guides, right? And this maybe even like sonar or psychic connection that you have with them, this sixth sense that you're awakening up to. And they could visit you when you're at rest. They could visit you when you're sleeping. So this is exactly what I experienced. So very, very early on, you can see how it's on the right side of the head. My main guide that I now identify as Archangel Michael, who guided me through my awakening. Very early on, I felt this scratching on the side of my head, right? This like nails, kind of almost like somebody stroking behind my ear, but it's like nails. It was this very uncomfortable sensation. I'm feeling it on my left side right now. And I remember going into work and being like, we were talking about ghosts, and I was like, I just had, like, you know, jokingly saying I had this really weird sensation of like a ghost like going like this behind my head, you know. But then I felt like I needed to resist it. So I'm sharing this because maybe you're experiencing a similar thing. At first I felt like I needed to resist it. It felt uncomfortable, and I could only bear it for so long because it felt like my skull was opening, is the only way I can describe it. So I believe now that this was my crown chakra opening up, but it felt like my skull was opening like this, right? It felt like a hole was like literally like my skull would open like this, and it was a very, very uncomfortable experience, but I leaned into it, right? I relaxed and I allowed it to happen because I felt safe and protected by my guides. And then I started to receive the psychic messages and the information and the visualizations of the flashes and like movies playing in my head and all this kind of thing that proved itself, right? It's like these things prove themselves to be real in our 3D reality. I get messages and then I see them play out. So I had confirmation that I'm not insane, that this is actually happening. And again, other people have also witnessed this proof of that I am in contact with something, right? Something beyond. And then just look at how they're coming through the veil here as well. So when your chakras are opening up, sometimes it can be a very uncomfortable experience. It can be difficult to, it's like, you know, if you think about, if I compare it to being at a dentist, right, the dentist is helping you. He's inspecting your teeth. Sometimes you have to have an injection in your mouth or your teeth drilled, and it's a very uncomfortable experience. And you have to place a huge amount of trust in that person. But they're doing it to help you, right? They are doing it to care for you. And it's a similar feeling of it feels uncomfortable, but I also feel safe, right? I trust my guides. So fascinating that, you know, it's like it's whispering in her ear, and that's where my messages come through. Like Michael stands to my right, he's next to my right ear, and I have a new guide as well. If you watched at the end of Gemini's reading, they had this thing about the wolf. So visualize yourself in a forest, and then you meet this wolf, and this is your spirit guide. What does it tell you? So I don't kind of want to talk about mine too much now, just in case anybody hasn't done it yet, because I really think it has to be a personalized experience. But yeah, mine came in with a new guide, and a new, like I said, Michael came in like this. It's a new sensation. So really interesting. And then I had wacky dreams last night, really mental dreams. So yeah, this is like suddenly being able to, I don't know, have clairaudience or you know, be able to hear the whispers of your ancestors or something like this. Absolutely fascinating card. This, I didn't know why this card was here until I went back to bed and was dreaming and was experiencing a very, very strong, intense connection with my guides, and I started to get very, very hot. Now, a lot of the time, if you're doing chakra work or especially Kundalini activation, which isn't always sexual, right? It's linked to sexual things. It can make you feel that way, but it doesn't have to be, right? It's just Kundalini is your chakras opening up, so it doesn't have to be sexual. It's an aspect of it. I just want to make that clear. But yeah, I mean, it's hot weather in the UK today. We're having a heat wave, but my body temperature was, it felt like my internal temperature was going very, very hot as I was feeling this incredibly strong connection to my guides. So again, that could be another sign for you that you're truly connecting to something. If your temperature's rising, the thingy's getting low, according to all sources. Behind the veil's the place to go. And then the path, right? It's like once it's open, once you've cracked it, right? Once you've figured out how to do this, it's like you can do it whenever you want. It's like that door is always open to you. So very similar to how I can sit here now and start to meditate, and very, very quickly my chakras will light up and I can start to call in my guides, and I will feel that sensation on the side of my head or wherever, depending on which guide's coming through. It's like that connection is always open now for me, and it's yeah. So similar thing for you there. So whatever this is for you, and if it's not meditation as chakras and being able to, I don't know, astrally project or see beyond the veil or anything like this for you, it's whatever, if we're going back to the 3D back, right, because a lot of the time what happens in the 5D happens in the 3D. What happens on the astral realm or in the dream space is a reflection of what's happening to us in the 3D tangible reality. So it could be that you're bringing things back through, like, I don't know, through having very vivid dreams, or through speaking to your ancestors and passed on loved ones in the dream space, or just even when you're daydreaming, like bringing that information, that God's source, which I do believe, if you've heard me talking about the default setting or the resting space being the daydream, right? When your mind is at rest, when it's daydreaming, I just saw a black crow fly above my house. So again, crows are messages from beyond. So I believe that the resting brain, which is the default brain science is discovering now, is when your brain is at rest and it goes into this daydream space, it's actually accessing higher information, right? It's actually, if you think about how important dreaming is to turning short-term memories into long-term memories, or how important dreaming is to really explore subconsciously the issues that you're battling in the 3D, it's actually turning that on its head and being like, what you dream about comes about. Whatever you can imagine happening, you can actually manifest in your tangible world. So there could be something where things that are happening for you on the 3D, in our right, knock on wood, I don't know, in our physical reality, like you could see the doors are opening to you, opportunities are coming your way, blockages are being removed because of, you know, you're pushing through fears to get into this space of trust and rest. And it took me a while, right? So when this first started happening, when this sorry, my phone just beeped at the side there. When it's funny that my phone beeped, and it's kind of, it's to my right. Okay, as I'm talking about, like my right, the right side of my head opening up so that I can receive messages from this guide, my phone beeps at the right side. So it's like confirmation. It's like it took me a while, right? It took me a while to trust. You know, at first you think, is this safe? Is this really, is this a trick? Is this good for me? But the proof is in the pudding, right? If you work with these energies and your life improves and gets easier and you become more confident and you feel like you're a better person, right? You're more good because of your connection with whoever these energies are, then they are good energies. If you find that you're getting self-destructive, or you're hurting people, or you're, you know, things are getting worse for you, then they are not angels, right? They are not good guides. So, however, I do think that sometimes there's a little bit of tough love there. Sometimes, you know, the universe knows what we need, and it can put us into uncomfortable situations because it wants us to learn how to resolve those situations, or you know, it's like a trial. It's like, are you going to make good choices in this uncomfortable situation? Are you going to rise to the challenge? Are you going to prove yourself to us here? Especially because you have this initiation card here. So really interesting, but it does mean that you have to strip back your own ego, really allow yourself to be at service to these higher energies in a positive way, right? And do the good work, and you'll see those improvements. So finally, like a new path is open to you. So if you feel like, as well, this could be deconstructing a negative view of yourself. If you feel like you've made bad choices in your life, if you feel like you've played with the devil a bit too much in your life, and you're feeling the consequences of that, it's like that portal, that doorway to a different reality is always open to you, and it's open to everybody. You just have to be aware that you can, at any point in your life, even if you've been a bad person, right, you don't have to continue to be a bad person. If you've hurt people, you don't have to continue to hurt people. And a lot of the time you have to do a little bit of self-evaluation. You have to do the shadow work to be able to really break that mask once and for all. But it's just, you know, the way that we perceive ourselves, the words that we tell ourselves, you know, what we see when we look in the mirror, who we think we are really has a huge effect on how we act in the world. So, you know, you see this as well with, like, if you have parents and your parents are constantly like, you're stupid, why are you so stupid? You'll grow up thinking you're stupid. But if you have a teacher who intervenes and says, you're not stupid, you just understand things differently, you're actually incredibly clever, but I'm going to show you, you know, that your brain works a different way, and this is the way that you learn. You're not stupid at all, you just have to learn it in a different way to the way that they learn, right? It's like, what's that thing that they say, like, you wouldn't expect what is it, like, you wouldn't expect I don't know, a dog to climb a tree, but monkeys are really good at it, right? It's like, but maybe a monkey can't do the things that a dog can do. So it's like, everybody has different natural talents, and it's not fair to put everybody, maybe somebody does have dyslexia, right? It's not fair to judge everybody by the same, like, narrow box, when everybody has different things that they bring to the table. So what works for one person may not work for another, and it's not fair to call somebody stupid just because the system hasn't adapted in a way that supports them, you know, when their talents lie elsewhere. So yeah, I find this, I used to do teacher training with children, so a lot of the time the children were just as capable of learning as the other children, you know, the children with learning difficulties, but they had to be taught a different way. They were not stupid, they just had a different process of understanding. So it's like getting to that teacher who says, you're not stupid at all, look, this is why you didn't understand it this way, and I'm going to help you understand it this way. Do you see, you're actually really clever, and, you know, maybe you understand things that other children don't. And then it's like that changes that perception of self, and you're like, I'm not stupid. You see, so sometimes it takes somebody outside of us to recognize this about ourselves. Sometimes it takes somebody outside of us to say, you're not a bad person, you're not a stupid person, you're not this, you're not that. Actually, I see the good in you. Actually, I see the potential in you. You've got a lot of potential, Cat DeLuna. What's that? Is it Kit DeLuna or Cat DeLuna? It's the quote from Pretty Woman. You know, at the end of Pretty Woman, like, her best friend who supported her that whole time, and she always tells her how awesome she is, and she's like, you can go to college, I'm going to give you your scholarship money, you've got potential, you know. And it's like, sometimes you need that other person to tell you. So here are you guys. I'm getting full head to toe goosebumps right now, by the way. Like, I call them spirit bumps. It's like really pleasurable goosebumps. So it's like, here come your guides, right? Here comes your spirit team. Here comes those protective angel energies that want to come in and help you out, who see your purity, who see your innocence, who see your potential. And they're coming in and they're changing the way you think. So you see how they're like black and white, and then this crane is also black and white. It's like they come in and change your mind, right? They come in and change your direction, because you can see how her feet are going this way, and then it's like she's pulled into this other direction. I nearly said dimension. So again, this could be something that's happening while you sleep, where your life path is changing, but it's showing on the dreamscape before it's showing in reality, right? They're showing you a different way that you can be. So yeah, take it back to the start. Imagine yourself as a newborn child, right? Imagine yourself as the sweetest, most innocent version of yourself, like as young as you can remember being, right? A time when you really were naive and sweet and innocent and pure and malleable. And go back to that state, because you do have potential, and you are having some sort of awakening, and there's a lot of potential there for you right now. So trust in the miracles. If you're feeling these people around you and you feel like they're good and they're making a difference, you know, if they're making you feel more confident and they're making you want to do more good in the world, and they're making you want to live your life a different way that's more meaningful and perhaps more spiritual, then I would listen to that. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you. Maybe I'm just predicting the Sandman. When I watch episode 2, maybe this is what that's going to be. I don't know, but that's where we are. I'm going to get you a song, and I'm going to get you an advice card. So can I get an advice card for Cancer, please? Oh, that is too many. I'm not even going to look. That is too many. Can I get one advice card for Cancer, please? One piece of advice, some clear advice for Cancer. Thank you. Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. There's the jigsaw pieces. It's like, take that piece of the jigsaw puzzle back, okay? Stop trying to sabotage. But it could be, again, that you have some kind of perspective, right? And it could be that you're collaborating with other people and you're bringing your different perspectives to the table to create some kind of bigger picture. Again, it could be experiences, and sharing your experiences means that you have a better image of the whole picture. You know, it's like you can see the divine plan better when you collaborate, rather than trying to, you know, complete this thing all alone. It's so interesting. And it's like, it really is, it's like, here's your puzzle piece coming in, right? Maybe there's an Aquarius involved. It's number 1 as well. Watch out for ants. Ants could be symbolic for you. If you see ants, pay attention to how they're behaving. you know, pay attention to the situation. Where are they? Where are you seeing them? How are they behaving? Is there any music playing at that time? You know, what thoughts are running through your head when you see ants could really be trying to communicate with you. When Ant Spirit comes to visit, it is to celebrate the benefits of working in partnership with others as part of a community or tribe. Spirit reminds you to build your dream. To build your dream, you need to work with others, accept help, and trust in your most important partnership, the one that you have with Spirit. Your intentions will come to fruition if you remain awake and focused on co-creating your reality with others and with Spirit. Remember that the world around you can easily seduce you if you don't have some sort of practice or discipline like meditation to keep you on track as you build the life you desire. Connecting with others and having accountability partners, that could be this Queen of Earth for you. Capricorn energy, maybe this is somebody around you who can help you. Connecting with others. Interesting, Capricorn's actually your kind of polar opposite sign. So if you look at the zodiac, Capricorn will sit across from you. So a lot of the time, like I know this because my south node is Capricorn and my north node is Cancer. So it's sometimes it's like what you're good at and maybe what somebody else is bad at, and vice versa, right? So it's like you could contribute to each other, where you kind of support each other, where you bring out the best of each other and you support the worst of each other in some sort of way. Connecting with others and having accountability partners can be very helpful, as it's unlikely that everybody will fall asleep at the same time. I feel like, again, that could just be the Sandman, right? Everybody will fall asleep at the same time. The other message Ant Spirit holds is that you are now at an auspicious time to ask for help and receive it. Whether you need help assembling a team, Cancers, assemble! Finding a new tribe or requesting assistance from others who are there to support you. Everything is working to support you right now. So it could be that you have to leave a toxic situation behind where, you know, perhaps you've got a friendship group or a workplace that, you know, it's turned sour. You know, these people may not be in line with you anymore. It may not be that anyone's a bad person, but you may have different values. You may have grown as people, and some people resonate and some people don't. So it may be time to move to a different group or a different project or a different partnership where you know, people get you, and it's a constructive relationship rather than whatever this dark space is that you're leaving behind. Let's get you a song on camera. Oh, I have to show you this as well. Can I show you this? Just checking my screen, like if there's anything inappropriate. So, do I want to tell you? No, I'm going to save it because it's part of my meditation. So again, at the end of Gemini's reading, I talk about how to meet your spirit guides, and yeah, my little journey was very interesting. But I'm going to give it maybe a few more days so that people can. So I went on YouTube then instead of Spotify for some reason. Oh my god, my back is so sweaty. I'm going to show you. It's so gross. You don't want to see it, but I'm going to show you anyway. Like, oh my god. Like, look at that. Ew. Ew. It's so hot. I'm having a heat wave. It's like 30 degrees today. Like, this is literally me. It's so disgusting. I'm going to finish this reading and go get a glass of water. Oh my god. It's like a swamp. Ew. Ew. Yeah, really sexy, right? I'm just wiping it on my pants. I don't know why I am the way I am. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I'm not sorry. So in My Feelings by Lana Del Rey is currently playing. Again, this kind of came through down here for you. All the songs that come through will be in the description box down below with some bonus songs. So check that out at the end of the reading. So Cancer, 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 Cancer. I'm probably going to get an advert, just warning you, but can I get a song for Cancer, please? Can you help Cancer to get on their highest path? Oh my god. Handmaid to Heaven by Marina. It makes me think of Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid Heaven. I envy the birds high up in the trees. They live out their lives so purposefully. I envy the spiders, the squirrels and the seeds. They all find their way automatically. But in this handmade heaven I come alive. Bluebirds forever colour the sky. In this handmade heaven we forget the time. Because birds of a feather fly together. They collaborate, right? Birds of a feather. Find your birds. Find your birds. Maybe cranes. I don't know. Maybe you know somebody called Crane. Maybe it's like Dr. Crane. I don't know. I carry along a feel of unease. I want to belong like the birds in the trees. I sit on my own, look over the town. The skyscrapers glow like they'll never fall down. And then she repeats the chorus. And I could no longer ignore the ivy growing tall. This life don't suit me anymore. The writing's on the wall. Stay in this reality. So I believe, as comforting as the other space can be, right? As much as, you know, like I said, I didn't really want to wake up today, but with it came this sense of purpose and responsibility. Like I believe that we are souls. I believe that we are, our natural state is in that other place, right? The afterlife, if you will. Heaven, whatever you want to call it, the place beyond the veil. I feel like that is our natural state and we are always connected to it. However, this 3D reality is like, the 3D reality is like the VR, right? It's like the experience. And we come down and get into our body like getting into a car or putting on that VR headset. And we come down to manifest in this physical reality to serve out a purpose. It may be to help friends, right? It may just be to be in the right place at the right time to cause something good to happen. But I do believe that we have this divine blueprint that we agree to before we manifest. And even though sometimes the going gets tough, even though sometimes we get to this dark place, our guides will help us through it. They will lift us up when we need lifting up, right? So, and the more you work with your guides here in this reality, and you bring more of heaven down to earth, right? The easier it is to exist here. What was that song that came through as well? Just give me a second. I can't remember the song. It came through, like I said, when I was in that space where I was like the child in the tree. It can be extra difficult if we're grieving and we really miss somebody that we truly love and that person's on the other side. And if we feel like we're connecting to them in the dream space, to have to come back to earth, back to our reality, back to our responsibilities, and to do what we need to do what needs to be done. It's really, really difficult, but we do it for others. I always say we survive grief to show people how to live, right? We survive grief for others. Grief teaches us how to live, how to be here, how to look after each other, how to make things better here on earth, right? How to bring the rainbows down to earth. So it's like, sometimes as well we can forget our purpose, we can forget why we're here, and that's okay. Contact your guides, right? The more you meditate, the more you find the space to receive these messages and act upon them, the more heaven on earth will be a reality for us. And I truly believe that, and not just for us but people around us. You know, we make the world a better place. So where am I going with this? If you think about, again, if you've ever been injured, somebody could have an injury to their bottom left leg. I was feeling this kind of like feeling on my bottom left leg, like below the knee, which tells me sometimes if I get feelings like that, it can indicate an injury. Maybe somebody could have something to do with their neck as well, like the back of their neck, like the spinal cord. But yeah, specifically the back left leg. And the reason why I'm saying the back left leg is because they also showed me a dog licking its back left leg. So maybe you have a dog that's licking its back left leg. You may just want to get it checked out. There could be, its leg could be sore. It could have like arthritis or something, and that could be a sign. But yeah, the back left leg. But yeah, if you have been on painkillers, and this was like a huge controversy in America where people got addicted to their pain medication, you know, perfectly good people who were holding down jobs, who have families, you know, like, you know, straight line people, suddenly had like, they're telling me methadone. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I'm hearing methadone. I was going to say morphine addictions because of the mishandling of opioids in the American healthcare system, and the over prescription of them, which doctors were encouraged to do. They've watched documentaries on it. It's a whole mess. But then you find all these people with actual addictions, because if you think about talking about Morpheus, right, the god of sleep, so talking about like what morphine does is it really makes you feel safe. You know, like how I felt I'm lucky that I can do it through meditation. I'm lucky that I can do it through the dream space to get to those places where I feel completely safe and protected and relaxed. But if people are relying on something like a substance to do that, it's very, very understandable, because like I understand that I didn't want to come out of that place, right? I didn't want to come out of that dream, and yet I do, because after my spiritual awakening, I find increasing amounts of pleasure being in my physical body. I'm ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about pleasure and touch and sensation. So just really enjoying the food that you eat, eating food that is really, really pleasurable. Like, you can't do that if you're a spirit, right? And, you know, having a walk and being around trees and touching plants and putting my fingers in the earth and hugging my children and feeling the sun on my face, like just feeling the warmth of the sun on my face. You know, people, like spirits, can't do that. So it's like, see the benefits of the earthly body and enjoy your physical body, dance, have sex, right? Do things that are pleasurable to you, and enjoy it, because we're here for the experience, so why not make it pleasurable? I don't know, maybe that's helpful. I'm going to go now, because I've probably said too much again, but do take care of yourselves, and I hope this was helpful. I see your value, the universe sees your value, you are doing a good job, you are making a difference to the people around you, and you do, with the help of spirit, when you get to know them, right, and you know the spirit guides that you can trust and the spirit guides that you need to ignore, because you do get mischievous ones, I'm not gonna lie. You see the effect. It really changes you as a person. It changes your whole perception of who you are in a really positive way. So keep doing the work. Cancer, you've got this. And some of you have been doing it, right? Some of you are nailing it. Others of you are just beginning. So wherever you are on this journey, you've got this. The universe loves you. I love you. You should love you. Yeah, we're gonna get on this. We're gonna do what needs to be done. Do take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.